Hey there, welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. It's the holidays and I'm exhausted, but I need to winnow our sorghum before we head out of town for the holiday weekend. It's been a couple weeks since our last video, and honestly, it's just because I'm tired. I haven't been doing anything. We're not even going inside just yet because I gotta clean so much stuff, but I thought we could start off. I gotta winnow this stuff out here. It's gonna take like 10 minutes, but I'll show you it. And then I thought we could make some sorghum crackers. So let's go check it out and show you how easy this process is. It is freezing out today, and of course in like 2 days it's gonna be like 45. Let's get this ready. Does this work? Perfect. All right, so we have our sorghum, which I've taken off the stalks and actually broke it up over a strainer. So we're going to winnow the chaff out of it. We have a bowl and we have a hairdryer. When you grow greens on a small scale, now, just for reference, small scale, we use 2 raised beds for this. And with the chaff, I don't know, it's probably like 3 or 4 cups worth in here. It's really not worth buying machinery to winnow your stuff. It's not too windy today. We either don't have wind or it's like a jet stream coming through. So the easiest way for us to do this, other than like shaking it and letting the wind take it, is to use a hairdryer. So let me show you what I mean, and then I'll show you what the aftermath is gonna look like. It's gonna go a little messy. So all we're gonna do is take your hairdryer, put on low. You can put on cool, doesn't matter. Then you're gonna take this and just gently pour it. You can see everything that smells good. It's getting away. I probably should move that rug, but anyways, so first pass, you can already see all of our sorghum that's good is down in here. We're gonna have to do another pass through, but all of this is just stuff that wasn't mature enough. It isn't really worth the time. And the chaff, which is like the outer holes. You can see over here. All this, when I'm done, I'm just gonna blow it away. So we're gonna do this like, I don't know, 2 or 3 more times, and then we can bring it in and start turning it into flour. Here's our second pass through. You can see it's already looking quite a bit more separated. I think I'll only really have to do this like 1 more time and we'll be all set. There's our third pass, and honestly the little twigs don't really bother me, so this is good enough. So let's take it in and use it. And then as far as this stuff goes, just put this on high. Easy. And take a second to do this, but all the little birds on the property will eat up all that chaff, which is fine with me. I just measured this out, so from 2 3x6 beds, which I think I started a bit too late because I want to say about 1/3 of it was not mature enough. I got 1 3/4 cup of usable grain. So We're gonna mix this with some wheat flour from the store to make our crackers. I hope this gives you an idea on scale when you want to do this at home. When you're thinking about scale on how much you need to grow, how much land you need to devote to everything, you need to consider what you're getting back from the crop. So for example, potatoes, they take up a lot of room, but you get a lot back. Corn does not take up a lot of room, and you might get, you know, maybe 1 to 3 corn cobs per plant. And in the case of sorghum, you get 1 seed head, and you can actually use the canes to make syrup as well. So 2 3x6 beds. Not sure how many plants we ended up going with, but we put a bunch in. And I think I started them a little bit too late because of how many, you know, weren't ripe by the time the plants needed to come out, just because of the weather. So now I know I can actually start them a little earlier next year, and then they'll be ready to go by the time fall and winter comes, and then we'll get a bigger harvest. But we could also take up more space with it. So when you want to grow greens, you need a lot of room, whether it's something that you need a lot of horizontal room for, or even stuff you need a lot of vertical room for. You know, you just always need more than you think you're gonna need. If I had a whole field of sorghum, am I gonna process all that? Hell no, not in the operation we have going on right now. But if you had the appropriate equipment, then yes, absolutely, you could probably grow a bunch and just have it on hand for the year. So decide what you want to do with the space that you have. I highly recommend growing things that are high calorie foods for the amount of space you're using. So for us, green corn and sorghum is the way to go. We got all of our ingredients here. I'm gonna go through the recipe pretty quickly, and I'm gonna put it in the description as well. For this recipe, I'm gonna use 1 cup of sorghum flour, 1 cup of wheat flour. I'm gonna put some sunflower seeds, some mixins in here, a little bit of olive oil and water. Then we're gonna bake it at 450 for like 12 minutes. Check this out. That is our sorghum flour. Now there are some sorghums that did not get pulverized, so that's okay. Looks really nice. So we're just gonna get some more wheat flour and we'll mix this up. These are gonna be good. I put a little lemon pepper in here because of what I'm gonna be eating with the crackers. So make sure you mix your dries. Makes mixing my wet a little bit easier. I don't know where my whisk went. Alright, now we just need some water and olive oil. We'll be so set. Here's what we got after mixing it all together. So we're going to take this, we're going to put it over here, and then we're going to cut it into cracker shapes. When I cook, I like as few steps as possible, so you don't have to overcomplicate it. Just get your cracker mix. We're going to put it on here. You'll see what we'll do in a second. Don't have to knead it. When I was making sourdough more regularly, I used to like using the discard to make crackers. I'll put that recipe in the description as well. It's like the best crackers ever. I really need to get into sourdough again, but this house is much drier and fluctuates in temperature a lot more than the last apartment I was in. All right, so we got our mix here. Just gonna take it and we're gonna flatten it out and try to make a rectangle as best as possible. So let me work on this. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done, but just do your best when you're doing this at home. And we're back. So all I did was just squish it all out, made it as thin as I wanted it to be. If you want thicker crackers, make it thicker, but it's pretty tough. And now, what I'm gonna do with these is find my sesame seeds. There's sesame on here. Is it, I don't know, is technically whole grain? I don't know. And then I'm gonna get a knife. We're gonna make cracker shapes. You don't need to cut all the way through, just score it. Okay. And then you'll see what happens once it bakes. This already has salt in it. If you didn't add salt to it, you could put some on top. Depends what you're going for. But this will help a lot once it's cooking. Okay. A little bigger crackers, do like that size. There you go. All right, so it's all scored. And that'll make it easier to separate everything once it bakes. So now our oven's ready. This is gonna go in for about 12 minutes, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how fast it bakes. I really enjoy making crackers. I think it's one of the easiest snacks you can make at home. I'll show you what I'm gonna use it for when it's done. But meanwhile, our new hens are laying quite a bit, so we actually need to put some eggs in storage. So we have plenty of time, just looking at 11 minutes, to water glass some eggs, and then we'll put them in the basement, and then we should have some left over to take with us for the holidays. Oh, goodness, Boo-Boo. What are you doing? Let's go get the eggs. This is everything you need to water glass eggs. So I'm using a 2-quart jar that I've already put 1 quart of water in. And then we're gonna measure out 1 ounce of pickling lime. You can also use hydrated lime. Well, I use a spoon for this because it's technically caustic and it will really dry out your hands. So we're just gonna measure out 1 ounce. You want 1 ounce of this powder for every quart of water, okay? There you go, that's fine. And then we're gonna put this in here and we're gonna shake it up, so we'll be right back. There you go. Don't have to go too wild with it. And now our new layers, I actually just started getting these beautiful blooms on here. Now you don't need to wash your eggs off. You want to use fresh, unwashed eggs that still have the bloom. Whether you want to use dirty ones or not, it's up to you. And we just gently put them in. Some people prefer to make sure they're upside down, so your air sac is up top. We haven't had an issue with it. But you want to use eggs that are laid like same day or within like a week or 2 of them laying. And I usually fit about, I don't know, between 11 and 15 in a jar. And we have many jars downstairs as well from our girls before we lost them to the coyotes. But they're stunning. As you fill this up, you'll see a reaction going. I'll show you that in just a moment. We'll just get the rest of these in here. Ooh. Oh, this one just cracked. You gotta be gentle when you're doing this. Let's take this one out. I'll just use that. Let's put it to the side. This one's okay. Yeah, be very careful when you're doing this. Shake. So I'm not going to put any more in here, but I will just fill up a little bit of water so we get to the top. So we'll be right back. You see that? Isn't that so interesting? So what's happening here is the hydrated lime mixture, the pickling lime mixture. Obviously it's falling down because of gravity, so you'll see that happen in your jars. But what it's doing is sealing the eggs. So it's penetrating all of the little entry points in the eggs in the shell, and that's what preserves them. And they'll be good at least a year, possibly longer. The longer they sit, the more watery and runny the yolks and the white will be, but they'll taste just fine. So I'd say if you use them within 4 months, just on our experience, they'll pretty much be the same as a regular egg. Once you get past 4 months, I would save it for like scrambled eggs or baking. And some people think they taste different. I don't. I think they taste fine. Some people think they taste like a little stale the longer they are, but I think the texture is just different. But isn't that beautiful? And then when this is done settling, that water will be crystal clear, and you'll actually be able to see the eggs with the bloom washed off. But absolutely stunning. I love doing this. It really helps us store eggs for winter. I just took this out of the oven, but needs a little bit more time. I'll put it in for a few more minutes and then we'll be back. These are all done. The edges got a little bit brown. So we're gonna let them cool off for like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and they're actually gonna get more crispy as they sit out and cool down. So the ones I wanted to cook more definitely did. So we're just gonna let it do its thing and we'll come back to it. I did want to show you how much sorghum is left. And there you go. This is a pint jar. It says half filled. It's about a cup, or maybe 3/4 of a cup. That's all we got. There we go. We got our crackers and squid. Just got a tin of squid from the store. Now these crackers with the sorghum are a little bit sweeter, but with the lemon pepper, really good. Really, really good. They're not super crunchy yet because these are still warm, but fantastic. So if you grow sorghum, make some crackers. And if you're not on the tin fish game, I really hope you do someday, because there's a lot of really good brands out there. And fresh fish is not accessible everywhere, but you can order. It's a little bit of what you want. And some people don't know how to prepare squid. Even an octopus. Well, they're pretty smart. I don't know if I'd still eat them, but not everyone knows how to prepare that. I mean, even if you get it frozen, you still have to prepare it, so. Tin fish is a lot easier. But these crackers came out great. It took me like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes to make them and spread them out. And there was another, I think in total it was like 13 minutes. Oh no, it wasn't. It was 15 minutes. And I got crackers. And that recipe I just showed you, the one in the description is a little bit different. So I modified it for what we did today. But really easy. Really easy. Only used, you're gonna use 1 cup of sorghum, about 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, and a cup of wheat flour, about 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and a cup of water, and just a few extra seasonings that I put in. Very easy. And it gets even easier if you use sourdough discard, because as you know, when you're making your sourdough, the first, like, I don't know, few weeks, you gotta attend to it pretty regularly before you can just put it in your fridge. And once you activate it again, of course, you're gonna have discard. And that stuff makes fantastic, like nice, like sour flavored crackers. Definitely recommend. But this stuff is great. I'm gonna have a quick snack. We'll come back and then I gotta have a little chat. Has anyone ever used this dehydrator? I was gifted this and now I need to figure out how to use it and what to dehydrate, but I guess now we can make some videos about that, which is pretty cool. If you have used this before and you want to give me some tips, please send me a message directly or just put in the comments. I'm really curious what I can make in here. If you hear some distress in the background, Greg is trying to get some dreadlocks off of Boo, and she does not like being contained. She's a very little cat, but she has a big personality. I wanted to come back now that I've had a snack. We have been running around for like a year straight, and I am exhausted. So exhausted. I don't think we put out a video since like 2 weeks ago. And every single day since 2 weeks ago, I've been telling myself, man, I really gotta make a video today. I've just been tired. Yesterday was the winter solstice. I hope you, if you celebrate solstice festivities, that was okay for you. I have been trying to hibernate and do nothing and be okay with doing nothing. But this is such a tough time of year, and we finished everything we needed to do outside to winterize everything and somehow slow down so that, you know, at least in January, you know, we can fully lean into resting before we get our spring garden going. Now I did order some seeds. I got some potatoes and I got some replacement seeds, and what else? I don't remember if I ordered more sorghum. I actually really enjoyed growing it this year. Making the syrup from it was a really fun process. Making it into flour, super easy. I just threw it in our little blender behind me. The thing has been mint for making flour. And I don't care if it's like the most like thinly processed flour. Really don't care about that. What else? We have a bunch of seeds that we didn't need to buy. Still on the fence about if we'll do sweet potatoes again next year. I think I will go ahead and get some. I think I will order some slips and we'll try them in the raised beds out back instead of out on the other side of our property. But I'm freaking tired. I mean, I do most of the gardening stuff, if you can't tell from the channel. And it's a lot of little things you have to know that's kind of unique to each area, like growing, I guess, by like our street versus in the back where like the woods is. It's almost like 2 different climates. The soil's different compared, like growing in the ground. We have very rocky, sandy ground, but our raised beds are fantastic. But our raised beds closer to the main house is more like a thick clay. It's a hot mess everywhere, so there's no uniformity to it. And yes, we do things to make things easier to process. For example, corn, I just leave it and I just, take a couple days to harvest it. The sorghum, harvested it, like I've been talking about forever. It took 3 hours of work between planting it, waiting for it, and actually processing it. Winnowing it today didn't even take 10 minutes. I just used a hairdryer. But when you do this kind of thing on your property, you need to attend to it. And if you're doing that and then traveling a lot, like we've been doing this year, and also working full time, you're gonna be tired. I'm tired. I don't even know what you're doing in your personal life, but I would imagine this time of year you might be tired too. So I hope that through the holidays and through January you get to rest. That's my goal for myself. Greg was actually kind enough and got me a new laptop, so that's making writing the book I'm working on a lot easier, and that's something I'll be doing through the holidays. My friend turned me onto Canva, that editing app. I've heard about it for quite a long time, and I never actually knew you could just do it on your phone. So that was cool. I thought it'd be really hard using Photoshop, but it's very accessible. So I've been messing around in there and practicing with it. Now that I see that, and I actually, for my job, we use some ChatGPT stuff. I don't like it, but for what I do for my job, it's very helpful. Now I can kind of see in the social media world, oh, all of those are from Canva, all of these are definitely ChatGPT. And I always wonder, it's just yes, work smarter, not harder. But how much substance is behind that? Are people falsely representing themselves? In some cases, yes. For us to do that, would I be falsely representing myself as someone who does graphic design? Probably, because I don't at all. But getting to use some more of these helpful apps and stuff has been pretty interesting for me, and it's low effort. So I'm exhausted right now from everything we do outside. It's kind of nice to just be inside, sit down, and just veg out, honestly. And if you know someone who's hustle every day, or is your time financially worth taking the time to grow your own food or cook your own food, and let's do the math on it, don't listen to them. I saw this kid talk about early 20s, which is fine, but I know people in their 30s and 40s who think like that too, who was I'm never gonna cook for myself. I did the math, and for me to eat out, 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day because I saw so-and-so say it's better to do that. I save so much time, and if I value my time XYZ, to go get groceries every week, which who does that, and take the time to cook every week, and this kid conflated everything. They were oh, I save so much time a year, and I'm not valuing my time outside of what I'm doing for work. I'm just not. And I'm not doing work outside of work either. I have a job. This is not my job. If anyone thinks this is my job, it's not. I have a job. But this stuff is worth it, and I think it is so worth being tired right now. I think if we weren't doing so much traveling, I would be less tired, because the garden was actually pretty manageable this year. We got a decent amount of rain. The weather was a little weird with the fires and everything, but you have to make your own decisions on what is worth it to you and why. And people ask me all the time, but not all the time. Sometimes I run into people and they're like, well, if you value your time as whatever per hour you're making at your job, and you're spending so much time a week on the garden, are you even getting that money back in what you're harvesting? And I just don't think you need to monetize everything. There's things I do this not just for financial savings of growing my food versus buying it at the store, but I enjoy it. You know, it's not just something we do as part of our lifestyle, but I enjoy it. It's a hobby as well. And I get fulfillment out of it. And I'm not going to quantify that. So, be that as it may. It's just past the winter solstice and I'm exhausted. So I don't know how frequently we're going to be putting up videos. All I can say, like I said before, is I hope you're getting rest during this time. And we'll probably see you after the holidays. We got another trip coming up. So I don't even know how much time I'll even have to make a video, but maybe I'll take some shots when we go on that trip. I appreciate you being here today. I hope you try the cracker recipe. It's super good. Put your own herbs in there. Modify it as you want. I probably could have made it without wheat flour and that would have been fine. I would have just gotten less of it. But the sorghum we grew, the Mennonite sorghum, definitely worth the growing. I think you should grow it at your house. Try it next year. We're done experimenting. So this upcoming year is just gonna be growing what we know we like in larger quantities. So the kind of like artfulness, experimental side of gardening, we've been at this property for 3 years. Yes, continue to experiment, but we don't really need to so much. Now we're moving more to using more science-based methods to get the most out of what we know we want to grow. So that's the goal for this year. In the next video I might go over what we'll be growing, but I do want to invite you to check out some of our old videos about garden planning and picking the right varieties for your area. So I'll see you next time. I hope you have a happy holiday season and a happy new year, and we'll see you around.